My name is Adrienne Cole. I'm 31. And 5 months ago, a semi blew through a red light and snapped my femur into 7 pieces. I surfaced in the ICU with morphine in my veins and fog in my head. Couldn't sit up. Couldn't think straight. I couldn't hold a pen without my hand shaking. My father was already there. Papers in hand. A power of attorney. My $230,000 settlement. He said he'd take care of everything. Protect it. Cover my bills. Keep my future safe while I learn to walk again. So I signed. Because I was pinned to that bed. Because he was my father. For 5 months I believed him. I let the rehab swallow me whole. I let the pain set the rules. I didn't look too closely. Because I didn't want to believe I had to. And then, one morning, before the sun was even up, my phone rang. Dr. Okafor called at 618 a.m. Let me tell you something about doctors who call before 7. It is never good news. Never. I was awake anyway. Pain has a way of making sleep optional. My right leg throbbed in that deep, bone-level way. No pill could touch anymore. 5 months since the crash. 5 months of physical therapy. Of relearning how to walk. Of watching my savings evaporate while I couldn't work. I answered on the second ring. Adrienne. It's Dr. Okafor. His voice had that careful tone doctors use right before they ruin your day. I got your latest imaging back. We need to talk about your femur. My hand tightened on the phone. How bad a vascular necrosis. The bone tissue is dying. Without blood flow. We're looking at collapse of the femoral head. He paused, choosing his words. We need to operate within 72 hours. Maybe less. 72 hours. 3 days to save my leg. What's the damage? I asked. Already knowing the answer would be catastrophic. 125,000. Insurance won't cover it. They're calling it a complication of your pre-existing accident injury. I closed my eyes. My settlement. The $230,000 I'd received 3 months ago from the trucking company, whose driver ran a red light and destroyed my life. The money my father was managing for me. Because I'd been too drugged on oxycodone to handle my own finances. Okay, I said. I'll need to get into my settlement account. Adrienne. I have to be clear with you. If we don't operate in the next 10 to 14 days, you're looking at a hip replacement before you're 35. Or worse. Worse. He meant amputation. He didn't say it. But I heard it. I hung up and opened my banking app with shaking hands. The account my father had set up as trustee. The account that was supposed to protect my future while I healed. Balance $35,000. I stared at the number. Blinked. Refreshed the app. 35,000. Down from 230. In 2 months. My chest went cold. This wasn't possible. It had to be an error. A glitch. Something. I called my father once. Twice. 3 times before he picked up. Adrienne. Honey? It's early. Where's my money? My voice came out flat. Calm. The kind of calm that arrives when your brain can't process the catastrophe it's staring at. Silence. Then, in the background, I heard her. Sharon. My stepmother. Her voice muffled but insistent. Your money is fine, Dad said, but his voice had that quality. That guilty, caught quality I'd heard 1,000 times growing up. The one from when he'd forgotten a recital or skipped a graduation for something more important. Dad. There's 35,000 in the account. There should be 230. Where is it? Another pause. Longer. We invested it. He finally said, in Tyler's company, Pixel Forge Studios. It's a mobile gaming startup. Really promising. Adrienne. The returns you invested my medical settlement in Tyler's startup. Tyler. Sharon's son from her first marriage. My 23-year-old stepbrother, who dropped out of 3 different degree programs, whose single greatest accomplishment to date was 50,000 Instagram followers. It's a family investment. Sharon's voice cut in. She'd grabbed the phone. Adrienne. You need to understand. Tyler has been here for you these past months. He's part of this family. Supporting you. You should know how to share. Share. I looked down at my leg at the scars running hip to ankle. At the metal hardware holding my bones together. At the crutches leaning against my bed. How much, I asked. How much what? How much did you give him? Silence. Dad. How much of my settlement did you transfer to Tyler? $195,000. His voice was barely a whisper. But, Adrienne, you have to understand. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from something colder. Something that felt like understanding, settling into my bones the way the pain had. I pulled up the transaction history. February 14th. Valentine's Day. While I was in the ICU. Recovering from my first surgery. Barely conscious. My father had wired $195,000 to Pixel Forge Studios LLC. Not after I'd asked. Not as a recent decision. 6 weeks ago, before I even knew I'd need the money for this surgery. I had 72 hours to find $125,000 or lose my leg. And my father. The man who'd sworn to protect me. The man I'd trusted with every dollar of my future. Had already made his choice. He'd chosen his wife's son over his own daughter. I sat there in the pre-dawn dark. And phone still in my hand. And felt something shift inside me. They thought I was weak because I couldn't walk. They were about to learn the difference between standing on your feet and standing up for yourself. If you've ever felt your family betray you when you needed them most, stay with me because this story isn't over. It's barely begun. Let me take you back to November 18th. 4:32 p.m. The intersection of Indian School Road and 32nd Street, here in Phoenix. That's the moment my life split into 2 versions before and after. Before, I was Adrienne Cole, physical therapist at Desert Wellness Clinic. I spent my days helping people recover from accidents, teaching them to walk again, to trust their bodies again. I was good at it. I loved it. Ironic, isn't it? I remember my last patient that day. A little girl named Maya. 4 years old. Recovering from a leg fracture. So scared she'd never run again. You will. I promised her. I'll make sure of it. 2 hours later. A semi ran a red light doing 55. My little Honda didn't stand a chance. They had to use the jaws of life to cut me out 40 minutes of grinding metal and my own screaming. Compound fracture of the right femur. Spinal trauma. Internal bleeding? The paramedic kept asking. Can you feel your legs, ma'am? Can you feel your legs? I couldn't disnexlet. I woke 3 days later in the ICU. Morphine drip. Beeping machines. And my father in the chair beside my bed, looking like he'd aged a decade. Baby girl, he said, his voice cracking. Thank God. He was holding papers. I was too foggy to understand what they were. The settlement's going to come through, he explained. From the trucking company. Their lawyer already called. But, honey, you can't manage this right now. Look at you, you can barely keep your eyes open. I was on morphine. 10 milligrams an hour through an IV. Oxycodone every 4 hours. The nurse's notes would later show I'd asked the same question 6 times in a single hour. I couldn't remember my own address. I need you to sign a power of attorney. Dad said. Just temporary. Until you're better. So I can manage the settlement for you. Keep it safe. Make sure it's there for your recovery. The pen felt heavy in my hand. Dad. I slurred. You'll protect it. For my medical bills, I'll protect it with my life. Adrienne. Blood doesn't betray blood. I'm your father. I signed. December came. I moved into my father's house. Because I couldn't climb the stairs to my own apartment. Because I couldn't shower without help. Couldn't cook. Couldn't drive. Couldn't be alone. Sharon had turned the downstairs living room into a bedroom for me. Big windows looking out over the backyard. Over their pool. We'll take care of you like you're our own daughter, Sharon said, smoothing the blanket over my legs. She leaned on the word times like, not times because you are. Like, but I was grateful. Or I thought I was supposed to be grateful. That's what good daughters do. Isn't it? Show gratitude. I didn't know I was being wheeled into a trap. Sharon loved the word times family. She used it like a weapon. Family means sacrifice. Adrienne. This was at dinner. 3 weeks into my stay. I'd asked why Tyler was sitting at the head of the table that had been my seat growing up. The one Dad always saved for me. Tyler lives here full time. Sharon explained. As if that settled it. You're just visiting until you heal. Just visiting. In my father's house. The house I grew up in. I was seated at the far end of the table. The spot where guests sit. Family means showing up. Sharon went on, ladling an extra portion of chicken onto Tyler's plate. Tyler's been here every day. Helping with your care. I wanted to laugh. Tyler had been in my room exactly 3 times, once on Thanksgiving. Because Dad insisted on a photo for Facebook, once to borrow my laptop because his was acting up, once to grab a package delivered to the wrong address. Total time. Maybe 3 hours and 20 minutes across 5 months. But pointing that out would make me ungrateful. Difficult. Not a team player. So I said nothing. You know, Sharon added casually, cutting her chicken in those precise little movements. Family is about giving without expecting anything in return. That's what real love looks like. I noticed Dad wasn't looking at me. He was staring at his plate like it held the secrets of the universe. The manipulation was so smooth, I almost missed it. Almost. When April came and I needed the surgery money, Sharon's response was surgical in its cruelty. After everything we've done for you, she didn't yell. Yelling would have been easier to fight. Instead, she looked hurt. Wounded. Adrienne. We opened our home. We rearranged our whole lives. We've given you round-the-clock care. Tyler has sacrificed his social life to be here for you. And now you want to what? Take away his one shot at success. It's my medical settlement. I said, for my medical expenses, it's times family times money. She corrected, and family takes care of each other. Then why I stopped myself. Took a breath. Why wasn't I consulted before Dad transferred $195,000? You times were times consulted. Dad said quietly, still not looking at me. Remember, we talked about investments. About making the money work for the family. I didn't remember that conversation. I would have remembered that conversation. When I pressed, February. You were having a hard time then. The pain medication I was in the ICU in February. Dad. I was unconscious for half the month. Sharon's smile didn't waver. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The medications are affecting your memory. Adrienne. You're not thinking clearly. You're being paranoid. There it was. The gaslighting playbook. Chapter 1. Make them doubt their own reality. I need $125,000 for surgery. I said, keeping my voice level. Doctor, Okafor says I have less than 2 weeks or I could lose my leg. Tyler's company is in a critical growth phase. Sharon said, he can't pull capital right now. It would tank the whole operation. Surely you understand that a business requires I might lose my leg. You're being dramatic. She said it kindly. Gently. The way you'd talk to a confused child? Doctor. Okafor is being conservative. You're young. You're resilient. You'll be fine. Tyler, on the other hand, has a narrow window for this opportunity. This is his moment. I looked at Dad. Is that how you see it? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Glanced at Sharon. Adrienne. He finally said, You're a smart woman. You understand that sometimes the right thing feels hard. This is an investment in our family's future. Tyler's success lifts all of us, including you. I just need my medical money back. It's locked in the company. Dad said, We can't just... You transferred it in one day. You can transfer it back. Silence. Sharon pulled out her phone. Started scrolling. Then turned the screen toward me. Tyler pushing my wheelchair. Tyler helping me into the car. Tyler bringing me water. 15 photos. 20. All carefully curated little moments of care. This is what family looks like. Adrienne. Tyler has been here every single day. He's earned his place in this family. I stared at the Thanksgiving photo, the one Dad had directed like a film shoot. Tyler. Stand behind her. Hand on the wheelchair. Smile. No. Bigger smile. This needs to look natural. 20 different angles of the same 30-second interaction. Family is who shows up. Sharon said, echoing her favorite line. And, honey. Tyler showed up. Now it's your turn to show up for him. I left the room. Hobbled back to my converted living room bedroom. Opened my notes app. And listed out every single time Tyler had actually shown up. November 25th. Thanksgiving. 30 minutes. Forced photo op. December 10th. 15 minutes. Borrowed laptop. January 3rd. 20 minutes. Wrong package. Total 3 visits. 1 hour and 5 minutes. The hospital visitor log I'd requested the week before told a very different story. Priya. My best friend, 12 visits. My coworkers from the clinic, 18. My college friends, 10. Aunt Bev. Dad's sister, 5. Tyler Briggs, 0. Raymond Cole. My father, 2. Sharon Briggs, 0. Family is who shows up. Sharon was right about that. She just didn't realize she was proving my point. None of this was new. I'd been the backup plan for 5 years. I just hadn't let myself see it. Let me show you the pattern. June 2016. My college graduation. Summa cum laude. 4 years of straight A's. I'd been accepted into a competitive physical therapy program. This was supposed to be my day. Dad showed up 45 minutes after the ceremony ended. I'd already turned in my cap and gown. The stadium was half empty. Sorry. Baby girl, he said. Not quite meeting my eyes. Tyler needed a laptop for his summer classes. The store was across town. You understand? I understood. Dad bought Tyler a $2,800 MacBook Pro that day. For summer classes, Tyler would drop 6 weeks later. I walked across that stage alone. September 2017. I asked Dad for a $5,000 loan security deposit and first month's rent on an apartment near the clinic. I just landed my first real job and needed to be close. Early mornings. Late nights. I don't have it. Adrienne. Dad said, money's tight right now. 2 weeks later, Sharon posted on Facebook a brand new Jeep Wrangler in the driveway. Tyler leaning against it. Flashing a peace sign. Caption times proud mom moment. Tyler needs reliable transportation for his new job. Number, blessed number, my boy. The Jeep cost $28,000. I slept on Priya's couch for 3 months until I'd saved enough for my own place. When I asked Dad about the Jeep, he said, "Tyler needs a car for work. Adrienne, you can take the bus. You're young. You're resilient." Resilient. I was hearing that word a lot. April 2013. I got engaged to Evan. We planned a small engagement party. Nothing fancy. Just family and close friends. Dad offered to host. My daughter's getting married. He said, hugging May, "Let me do this for you." 1 week before the party, Sharon called. "Honey, we have to cancel. Tyler's grad school tuition is due, and Raymond had to help him out. We just can't afford the party right now. You understand." The venue deposit was non-refundable, $1,200. I had to eat it. Tyler dropped out of grad school 1 semester later. The tuition Dad paid wasted. Evan and I broke up 6 months after that. Unrelated to the family drama. Or maybe not so unrelated. Maybe I was already learning that I came second. Maybe I was already rehearsing for disappointment. 3 times. 3 times I made excuses. Blended families take time. I told myself, Dad loves me. He just shows it differently. I'm being selfish. I'm being ungrateful. I need to be more understanding. I gave him 5 years. 5 years of being the easy daughter. The one who didn't complain. The one who understood. And when I needed him most, when I was lying in a hospital bed with metal rods in my bones and terror in my heart, he took the 5 months of my recovery and sold them for his wife's approval. $195,000. That's what my future cost. No, that's wrong. That's what Tyler's present cost. I was just the one who paid. April 3rd. 10:15 a.m. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. I'd been getting spam calls all week. But something made me pick up. Ms. Cole. This is Carolyn Frost. I'm your father's financial advisor. I sat up straighter. Immediately regretted it as pain shot through my hip. Carolyn, hi. Is everything okay? That's what I need to talk to you about. Are you free to meet in person? Today, if possible. The urgency in her voice dropped my stomach through the floor. What's wrong? Not over the phone. Please. There's a coffee shop on Camelback at 24th. Bright Beans. Can you be there at noon? I could barely walk. I said yes. Carolyn was waiting when I arrived. 60s. Steel gray hair. Sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. She'd managed Dad's finances for 12 years. I'd met her at Christmas parties. Summer barbecues. She'd given me a card when I graduated. She stood the moment she saw me struggling with my crutches. Let me help. I've got it. Visalt. She'd already ordered me a coffee. And she remembered how I took it. 1 cream. No sugar. That small kindness nearly broke me. Adrienne. She said, folding her hands on the table. I'm violating about 6 professional codes by being here. But I can't sleep at night knowing what I know and saying nothing. She opened her laptop and pulled up an email inbox, my father's inbox. I have admin access to Raymond's email for business purposes. She explained. 2 weeks ago, I saw something that worried me. She turned the screen toward me, from Sharon Briggs to Raymond Cole. February 10th. Enaist se deminštiri deset p.m. Subject Tyler's opportunity. Raymond. We have to move fast on the Pixel Forge funding. Tyler's partners are getting antsy. If we don't commit the $200,000 by Friday, they're going with other investors. I know you're worried about Adrian finding out. But honey, think about it logically. Adrienne will be fine. She's young. She's resilient. She'll figure something out. She always does. Tyler needs this now. This is his moment. This is our son's shot at real success. If you don't sign those transfer papers, I need you to understand something. I can't stay in a marriage where my son comes second to someone else's daughter. I need to know you're choosing us. You need to decide what matters more. I read it 3 times. Someone else's daughter? Keep reading. Carolyn said quietly. I scrolled down to Dad's reply. From Raymond Cole to Sharon Briggs. February 11th. 6:22 M. Sharon. You know I love Adrian. She's my daughter. But you're right, Tyler is here. He's part of our daily life. Adrian has her own life. Her own path. I'll sign the papers today. Please don't leave me. R. The coffee shop was spinning. There's more. Carolyn said. She pulled up bank statements. Highlighted a transaction in red. February 14th. Wire transfer to Pixel Forge Studios LLC, $195,000. Authorized by Raymond Cole. Power of attorney for Adrian Cole. Status completed. Valentine's Day. I whispered. I was in the ICU. I just had my first surgery. I was barely conscious. I know. Carolyn's voice was tight with anger. I called Raymond that afternoon and asked if he was sure about this. I told him, this is your daughter's medical settlement. This is not a family investment fund. This is for her recovery. What did he say? He said, and I quote, Carolyn, you don't understand. If I don't do this, I'll lose my wife. She closed the laptop. I've been in this business 30 years. I've never seen a man more afraid of his spouse than of his own conscience. She pushed a folder across the table. Manila. Thick. Bank statements. Email threads. Transfer receipts, all of it. Legally obtained through her administrative access. I'm giving this to you because I think you're going to need it. I opened it and saw months of correspondence. Dad asking Sharon for permission to spend money. Sharon making demands. Tyler sending wish list after wish list. Carolyn pulled out a napkin and wrote a name and number. Renata Quinn. Attorney family law and fiduciary abuse. She's the best I know. Tell her I sent you. I can't afford she takes pro bono cases. 2 a year. Tell her your story. Trust me. I looked at this woman who'd risked her career to hand me the ammunition I needed. Why, I asked. Why are you doing this? Carolyn's eyes went distant. Said. Because 20 years ago, my sister trusted her husband to manage an inheritance from our parents. He gave it all to his brother's failing business. By the time she found out, it was gone. She died in debt. Adrienne. Medical debt. Because her husband chose his brother over his wife. She stood and picked up her purse. I couldn't save my sister. But maybe I can help you save yourself. And she left. I sat there for 20 minutes. Staring at the folder. At the proof. At the paper trail of betrayal. They'd planned this. Not a spur-of-the-moment mistake, a calculated decision. Made while I was unconscious. Helpless. Trusting my father to protect me. They'd sold my future and called it family. I pulled out my phone and dialed the number. Quinn Law. How can I help you? My name is Adrian Cole. I said. Carolyn Frost told me to call. I need to sue my father. Doctor. Okafor didn't sugarcoat it. He put the X-ray on the light box. And even I could see it, dark patches spreading through the femoral head like ink in water. Avascular necrosis. He said. The bone is dying. Adrienne. Without immediate intervention, you're looking at total hip collapse. How immediate? 10 days. 2 weeks if you're lucky. After that, he pointed to the darkest area. This becomes irreversible. Hip replacement before 35. Possibly amputation. If infection sets in, the word times amputation, times hung in the air like a blade. And the surgery costs. He handed me the estimate itemized. Detailed. Devastating. Surgical procedure. 85,000. Anesthesiology. 12. Hospital stay. 3 to 5 days. 18. Post-op physical therapy. 6 months. 10. Total, 125,000. Insurance coverage 0. Reason pre-existing conditions stemming from the original accident injury. I can't get a payment plan, I asked. Already knowing. 4,200 a month for 3 years. The hospital wants 20% down. That's 25,000 up front. Doctor. Okafor sat across from me. Adrienne. I know your situation. I know about the settlement. This is exactly what that money was for. I didn't tell him the money was gone. I couldn't make the words come out. Instead, I went home to Dad's house. Because I still couldn't live alone and locked myself in my converted bedroom. I stared at my phone for an hour before I called Tyler. He declined. I texted, Tyler. I need to talk about the investment. I need surgery. Can we please discuss returning some of the capital times? 3 hours later times Vic. I'm in a critical phase with Pixel Forge. Can't pull funds right now. Investors would freak. Talk to Dad. I called again. Blocked. I'd been blocked by my stepbrother. I checked his Instagram posted 2 hours ago a Tesla Model 3. Shiny. New. His hand on the hood. Peace, sign up. Caption times new ride for new beginnings. Number, blessed number, startup life number, dream big. I zoomed in on the background. Phoenix Tesla dealership. I pulled up my banking app and checked the Pixel Forge business account. Dad had foolishly given me view-only access when he set up the family investment. March 3rd. Withdrawal. 50,000. Description owner distribution. T. Briggs. The same day Tyler texted me he couldn't pull funds. The same day he bought a $52,000 car with my money. From the settlement that was supposed to save my leg. I set a timer on my phone. A countdown. 10 days. 240 hours. Every hour. It would alert me a reminder that my future was bleeding away while Tyler drove a Tesla bought with my bones. I wasn't angry anymore. I was cold. Calculating. I had 10 days to get my life back. And I knew exactly where to start. Priya showed up at 7 with Thai food and her laptop. Priya Nair, my best friend since college. The one who'd visited 12 times in the hospital. Who'd held my hand through PT sessions where I cried from pain and hopelessness. Blood didn't make Priya family. Showing up did. Carolyn called me. She said, unpacking containers of pad thai and spring rolls. Gave me the Cliff's Notes. Vic. What the hell? I handed her the folder. She read in silence for 10 minutes. Her jaw tightening with every page. Your dad. Raymond Cole. The man who coached your soccer team. Who taught you to ride a bike? Who cried at your high school graduation? She looked up. That times Raymond Cole did this. People change when they're scared. I said, Dad's terrified of losing Sharon. More terrified than he is of losing me. Priya's hands balled into fists. Screw that. We're getting a lawyer. We're getting your money back. And we're making sure they never do this to anyone again. She opened her laptop and made a call. Renata, it's Priya Nair. Carolyn Frost gave my friend your number. Can you do a video call right now? It's urgent. 2 minutes later, Renata Quinn appeared on screen. Sharp eyes. Professional blazer. It's the look of someone who'd seen it all and stopped being shocked by human cruelty years ago. Priya laid out the situation in 5 flat minutes. Renata listened. Didn't interrupt. When Priya finished, Renata was quiet for exactly 10 seconds. Then I'm taking your case. I don't have money for pro bono. I do 2 cases a year. Renata Kutin. Cases that matter. This is number 2 for the year. She leaned toward the camera. Adrienne. My mother died in medical debt because my uncle talked her into putting her cancer treatment fund into his business. I was too young to stop it. Too young to even understand what was happening. Her voice didn't waver, but her eyes were steel. I couldn't save my mother, but I'm going to make damn sure you save yourself. What do we do? I asked. First, you keep every dollar you have left. Immediate needs only. Second, I'm filing a civil suit tomorrow morning. Breach of fiduciary duty. Undue influence. Financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. She pulled out a legal pad and started writing. Third, we go to court. Public court. Every email. Every transfer. Every lie, we're making it public record. My dad, your dad, violated his legal duty to you. He can cry about it in front of a judge. Priya squeezed my hand. Chosen family. Vic. We're your real family now. Renata nodded. And family fights for each other. How's Tuesday? I want to file by 9 a.m. Tuesday, April 8th. 9, immeubles a.m. Maricopa County Superior Court. Renata filed the complaint. Adrienne Cole. Plaintiff. Versus Raymond Cole. Sharon Briggs. Tyler Briggs. Défendant. The clerk looked at me over her reading glasses. Mum, are you sure about this? Family lawsuits they're hard. They stopped being family when they stole my future. I said. She stamped the papers. Good luck. Honey, I hope you get everything back. The text came from Dad at 9 the next morning. Family meeting. Chaise de pain. M. Today. We need to discuss your future. Please be home. Not a question. À comment? Sharon was CC'd. Tyler reacted with a thumbs up. I wrote back times. My future is my decision. Dad. Chaise de pain. M. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I arrived at 558. The living room was set up like an intervention, 6 people already seated in a circle. Dad, Sharon, Tyler, Aunt Bev, looking deeply uncomfortable. Martzi, a friend of Sharon's I'd never met, and a man I didn't recognize. A badge clipped to his belt. Dr. Philippe Grant, clinical psychologist. The air went out of my lungs. Adrienne. Please sit. Sharon said, gesturing to an empty chair in the center. The hot seat. What is this, an intervention? Doctor, Grant said in that smooth, therapeutic voice. Your family is concerned about you. I looked at Dad. You brought a psychologist to ambush me. We're worried. Baby girl. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. You've been acting unstable since the accident. We think the pain medication might be affecting your judgment. My judgment. You've been calling repeatedly about money. Sharon said, ticking off her fingers. 5 times in 2 days. You're not eating. You've lost 12 pounds. You've been hostile toward Tyler. I've been asking about my money that you stole. See, Sharon looked at Dr. Grant. This is what we mean. The aggression. The paranoia. Dr. Grant opened a notebook. Ms. Cole, your family has shared some concerning behaviors. Obsessive focus on finances. Mood swings. Difficulty accepting help. These can be signs of medication interaction. Or post-traumatic stress. I'm not crazy. No one is saying crazy. Doctor, Grant said smoothly, but we do think you're not in a position to make sound decisions right now. Your family cares about you. They want to help. Sharon pulled papers from her purse and slid them across the coffee table. Voluntary psychiatric evaluation. 72-hour observation. Just to make sure you're okay. Adrienne. That you're safe. I picked them up. Raymond Cole's signature was already on the family consent line. It just needed mine. You want to commit me. We want to help you. Sharon said gently. Kindly. The voice of a concerned mother. Once you're stable, we can talk about the money. About family. About what's really best for everyone. Translation, once you're locked up, drugged, and discredited, we can keep your settlement and you'll have no credibility left to fight us. Tyler was looking at the floor. Aunt Bev was staring at her hands. Marcy was nodding along like this was all perfectly reasonable. Doctor, Grant said, sometimes the people who love us see what we can't see in ourselves. Adrienne, your family is showing up for you. Now you need to show up for your own recovery. I looked at Dad. Really looked at him. He was crying. Real tears. But he didn't speak. Didn't defend me. Just sat there. Letting his wife orchestrate my destruction. No. I said, Adrienne. I stood. Grabbed my crutches. I'm not signing anything. I'm not unstable. I'm not paranoid. I'm a woman who trusted her father. And he betrayed me. I looked straight at Dad. You signed away my medical fund while I was unconscious. You chose your wife over your daughter. And now you're trying to gaslight me into believing I'm crazy for being angry about it. I picked up the papers and ripped them in half. This meeting is over. I walked out. I made it to my car before my hands started shaking. I called Renata from the parking lot. They just tried to commit me to a psych eval. I said, my voice breaking. They're escalating. Good. Renata said, her voice pure steel. Let them escalate. Every move they make digs their hole deeper. Adrienne, you just walked out with your power intact. You didn't sign. You didn't break. You held your boundary. I'm scared. You should be. They're dangerous. But you're not alone. Tomorrow morning, we file a motion for an emergency injunction. We freeze every asset. Every penny they took. And then we go to court. Public court. Where they can't gaslight. Where facts matter more than manipulation. I leaned my head against the wheel. Priya's coming to get you. Renata went on. You're staying with her until trial. You don't go back to that house. You don't answer their calls. You document everything. Okay, you did the right thing tonight. Walking out. Refusing to sign that took spine. I don't feel strong. You don't need to feel strong. You just need to keep standing. Even on crutches. Renata's office was controlled chaos, papers everywhere. Whiteboards covered in timelines. Her paralegal, Nadia, sorting documents into color-coded folders. Nadia. This is Adrienne. Renata said. Adrienne. Nadia is going to help us dismantle your father's defense. Nadia looked up and smiled grimly. I've been going through the bank records Carolyn provided. Adrienne. Your family didn't just steal from you. They were sloppy about it. She pulled up a spreadsheet. February 14th. Wire transfer. $195,000 to Pixel Forge. Process same day. No advisory review. No waiting period. Sharon Briggs was physically present at the bank for the signing. Carolyn confirmed it. She clicked to another screen. March 3rd. Tyler withdraws $50,000 from Pixel Forge's business account. Same day. 3 hours later. He buys a Tesla Model 3 for $52,000. Cash. And March 28th. A $15,000 transfer from Pixel Forge to Sharon Briggs's personal checking. Description consulting fee. My stomach turned. They were dividing up my money. Like pirates splitting treasure. Nadia said flatly. And they left a paper trail. Renata pulled out a folder of medical records. December 2nd, the day you signed the power of attorney. Hospital notes show you were on morphine. 10 milligrams an hour, plus oxycodone every 4 hours. She read from the file. Patient disoriented. Asking repeated questions. Required assistance with decision-making. Recommend no legal documents be signed without an advocate present. The nurse recommended I times not times sign legal papers, yes. Your father had you sign anyway. That's textbook undue influence during incapacity. Any contract signed under those conditions is voidable. She laid the medical records beside the bank statements. Now here's the smoking gun. She opened her laptop and pulled up an email from Carolyn's files. From Tyler Briggs to Sharon Briggs. February 9th. 8:14, pay. M. Subject RE, the investment. Mom. Are you sure about this? Using Adrian's money feels wrong. She's going to need it. And the reply. From Sharon Briggs to Tyler Briggs. February 9th. 8:27 p. M. Tyler. Sweetie. Stop overthinking. Adrian is Raymond's daughter, not Urs. You are my priority. You are our priority. She'll figure something out. She always does. But this is your chance. Your moment. Raymond will do what I tell him. Trust me. I read it 3 times. Not Urs. She put it in writing. Renata said that she never considered you family. That she manipulated your father. That this was premeditated. Nadia highlighted another line. Raymond will do what I tell him. That's an admission of her of undue influence over the power of attorney holder. Renata started pacing. To the way lawyers do when they're building a closing argument in real time. Here's what we have. Medical records proving you were incapacitated when you signed. Bank records showing unauthorized transfers. Email evidence of premeditation and manipulation. And witness testimony from Carolyn Frost, a licensed financial advisor with a 12-year professional relationship with your father. She turned to me. Adrienne, when we walk into that courtroom, we're not just asking for your money back. We're proving your father committed financial elder abuse. That Sharon orchestrated fraud. That Tyler knowingly benefited from stolen funds. What happens to them? Raymond loses his power of attorney. Pays full restitution, plus interest, and likely faces suspension of any financial licenses he holds. Sharon could face fraud charges. Tyler's assets get frozen until he repays every dollar with interest. And me. You get your $195,000 back. Plus legal fees. Plus damages for the medical delay and the emotional distress. Renata sat down across from me. But more importantly, you get your voice back. They tried to silence you by calling you crazy. We're going to make them hear you. In front of everyone. Nadia handed me a list. 8 names. Our witnesses. Carolyn Frost. Priya Nair. Dr. Okafor. He'll testify to the medical necessity and timeline. 3 nurses from your hospital stay. A hospital social worker who documented the family dynamics. And our forensic accountant. Who'll walk the judge through exactly where every dollar went. And what do they have? I asked. Lies. Renata said simply, they have lies. Manipulation. And the hope that you'll be too broken to fight back. She opened a folder and pulled out a photo of me in the hospital. Tubes everywhere. Unconscious. This is their victim. This is who they exploited. And when the judge sees this next to Sharon's email saying, Raymond will do what I tell him, she smiled. Cold. Professional. They're done. May 15th. I didn't sleep the night before, not from nerves. From readiness. I'd been preparing for this for 6 weeks. Every document memorized. Every timeline rehearsed. Every question Renata might ask. I knew the answer. Priya picked me up at 7. You ready to watch karma happen in real time? She asked. I'm ready to tell the truth. Renata met us at the courthouse. Navy suit. Briefcase. Game face. Remember, she said. We don't need the room to like you. We need the evidence to speak for itself. Stay calm. Stay factual. Don't engage with their emotional manipulation. Courtroom B7 was packed 25 people in the gallery. Priya. Aunt Bev, who'd switched sides after that intervention attempt. My co-workers from the clinic. Carolyn Frost. College friends. And a reporter from the Phoenix Tribune. Renata had tipped them off. This was going to be public. On the defendant's side, Dad. Sharon. Tyler. Their lawyer. Mr. Dunlap. A grandfatherly type in his 70s. 3 of Sharon's friends. His sister. Dad wouldn't look at me. Sharon stared straight ahead. Jaw tight. Tyler kept checking his phone until the bailiff told him to put it away. All rise. The Honorable Judge Marion Vance presiding. Judge Vance entered late 50s. Sharp eyes. 28 years on the bench. Renata had chosen this courtroom on purpose. Judge Vance was known for 3 things: efficiency, zero tolerance for nonsense, and a particular hatred of vulnerable adult abuse. Be seated. She opened the case file 3 inches thick. She'd clearly read every page. This is a civil suit for breach of fiduciary duty, undue influence, and financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. Counselors. I've reviewed the briefs. Ms. Quinn. You may begin. Renata stood. Didn't glance at her notes. Just walked to the center of the courtroom and turned to face my father. 5 seconds of silence. Then, Your Honor, I have one question for this court. When does a father stop being a father? She paused. The answer, I submit, is the moment he signs away his daughter's future for his wife's approval. Dunlap objected. Your Honor, this is inflammatory. Overruled. Continue. Ms. Quinn. Renata walked to the projector and clicked the remote. Bank statements filled the screen. The numbers impossible to miss. Balance. December 15th, $230,000. Balance. February 14th, $35,000. Ms. Cole received a $230,000 settlement for a catastrophic car accident. She entrusted her father, Raymond Cole, seated right there to manage this fund while she recovered. This was medical money. For surgeries, for rehabilitation, for survival. Another click. The wire transfer. February 14th. $195,000. Recipient Pixel Forge Studios, LLC. Authorized by Raymond Cole. Power of attorney. On Valentine's Day. While Ms. Non. Cole was in the ICU recovering from spinal surgery. Barely conscious. Raymond Cole wired $195,000 to his stepson's gaming startup. Gasps from the gallery. Judge Vance's expression didn't change. But she leaned forward. Without Miss Live, Cole's knowledge. Without her consent. While she was legally incapacitated, Dunlap stood. Your Honor. Mr. Cole had valid. He was legally entitled to make investment decisions. Sit down. Mr. Dunlap. You'll have your chance. Judge Vance looked at Renata. Continue. Renata projected the medical records. The medication log. The nurse's note times patient. Disoriented to time and place. Asking repeated questions. Memory impaired. Recommend no legal documents without advocate. This was Ms. Cole's condition when she signed the power of attorney. Drugged. Disoriented. Unable to make informed decisions. And her father, who should have protected her. Use that vulnerability to take control of her money. Click. Tullers Tesla. On Instagram. Date stamped March 3rd. 3 weeks later, Tyler Briggs, Sharon Briggs's son, withdrew $50,000 from the startup and bought himself a Tesla with Adrian's medical money. Aunt Bev audibly gasped. Raymond. No. Ms. Cole's family members will remain silent or be removed from the courtroom. Judge Vance said. Renata pulled up the email chain. The one from Sharon. February 9th. And read it aloud into the silence. Adrian is Raymond's daughter. Not Ors. You are my priority. Raymond will do what I tell him. She let the words hang. Not Ors. Despite 5 years of claiming to be family, despite the intervention attempt last month where they tried to have Adrian involuntarily committed to psychiatric care to silence her, Dunlap shot up. Objection. That's not in evidence. It is now. Renata pulled out the commitment papers, the voluntary psychiatric evaluation forms, Raymond Cole's signature already on the consent line, prepared for an ambush intervention with a hired psychologist. The goal: make Adrian appear unstable, so her lawsuit could be dismissed as the ravings of a mentally ill person. Judge Vance took the papers. Examined them. Her jaw tightened. Mr. Dunlap, your client tried to have his own daughter institutionalized to cover up financial theft. Your Honor, we believed she was. I asked a yes or no question. Dunlap sat down. Renata turned to the gallery and made eye contact with Carolyn. I call Carolyn Frost to the stand. Carolyn was sworn in calm. Professional. Unshakable. Ms. Frost. What is your relationship to the defendant? Raymond Cole. I've been his financial advisor for 12 years. And what happened on February 14th? Raymond came to my office requesting a wire transfer of $195,000 from Adrian Cole's settlement account to Pixel Forge Studios. Did you advise him? I told him it was inadvisable. That this money was Adrian's medical fund, not a family investment vehicle. I said. Specifically, Raymond? This is your daughter's future. Don't do this. What did he say? Carolyn's voice cracked slightly. He said, Carolyn, you don't understand. If I don't do this, Sharon will leave me. I can't lose her. Murmurs rippled through the gallery. Was Sharon Briggs present? Yes. She sat next to Raymond the entire time. Every time I tried to explain the consequences, she interrupted. She told me, and I quote, Adrian will be fine. She's young. Tyler needs this now. Did Miss Briggs say times need times or times want times need? She said Tyler, times needed times this opportunity. That it was his one chance. Renata turned to the judge. Your Honor, I'd like to admit the transaction record showing Tyler Briggs withdrew $50,000 from Pixel Forge on March 3rd, the same day he texted Adrian saying he couldn't withdraw funds and used that money to buy a luxury vehicle. Admitted. The Tesla receipt went up on screen. Side by side with Tyler's text times. Can't pull funds right now. Investors would freak. Same date. Renata didn't even need to comment. The evidence spoke. Ms. Frost, in your 12 years working with Raymond Cole, had you ever seen him afraid of anyone? Yes. His wife? Objection. Dunlap was red-faced now. Speculation. I'm asking what she observed. Your Honor. Overruled. Answer the question. I watched Raymond Cole go from a confident, decisive man to someone who couldn't make a single financial decision without checking with Sharon first. Every time. Phone calls during meetings. Texte confirmation. He was terrified of making her angry. Renata walked back to her table and pulled out the hospital visitor logs. Ms. Frost, can you read the names listed under visitors for Adrian Cole? November 18th through March 1st. Carolyn read. Priya Nair. 12 visits. Various clinic coworkers. 18. College friends. 10. Beverly Cole. 5. She paused. Raymond Cole. 2 visits. Tyler Briggs. 0. Sharon Briggs. 0. The courtroom erupted. Judge Vance's gavel came down. Bang. 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 Order. I will have order. Renata's voice cut through. Your Honor, the defense claimed, Adrian should share times with Tyler because he'd been there for her. The evidence shows Tyler never once visited her in the hospital. Raymond visited twice in 4 months. And they took $195,000 of her medical money. She turned to face Raymond directly. Mr. Cole, would you like to explain to your daughter standing here on a surgically repaired leg that nearly had to be amputated because you gave her medical money away, how exactly Tyler deserved her settlement? Dunlap jumped up. Objection. Counsel is testifying. Withdrawn. Renata smiled. Cold. I'll let the evidence testify instead. She looked at the judge. Your Honor, I'd like to call Adrian Cole to the stand. If you've made it this far, please stay with me because what happened next changed everything. Not just the verdict, but my entire understanding of what family means. I walked to the witness stand. No crutches today. Renata had insisted I try without them. Show them you're strong enough to stand. She'd said. 15 steps. My hips screamed. But I made it. The bailiff held out the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth? The whole truth. And nothing but the truth I do. I looked out at the gallery at Priya. Tears already in her eyes. At Aunt Bev, who mouthed, You've got this. I always have. Renata approached. Gentle now. This wasn't about theatrics anymore. This was about truth. Adrienne. In your own words, what happened after your accident? I took a breath. And I told them everything. The accident didn't take away my ability to walk. My family did. They took the money I needed to heal and called it an investment. They took my trust and called it a power of attorney. They took my voice and tried to call it mental illness. My eyes found Dad's. He was crying silent tears. My father used to tell me, blood doesn't betray blood. But he was wrong. Blood can betray. When there's money in between. I turned to the judge. I wasn't strong in their eyes. Your Honor, I was convenient. A source of funds they could reach while I was too weak to fight back. When I needed surgery, when I begged for my own money, they told me I should timeshare. But sharing requires 2 people giving stayed. They only knew how to take. My voice didn't shake. It was steady. Clear, they said family helps each other. But family isn't helping yourself to someone else's future. Family is supposed to protect you when you can't protect yourself. My father had one job, keep my settlement safe until I could walk again. Instead, he sold my recovery for his wife's approval. I looked at Sharon now. You told me I should know how to share. You told me family is who shows up. You were right about that second part. Family times is times who shows up. Priya showed up. Renata showed up. Carolyn showed up. People with no blood connection to me at all showed up 12. 15. 18 times. Do you know how many times you showed up? 0? But you showed up real fast when there was $230,000 to spend on your son. Tyler was staring at his hands. Couldn't look at me. That $195,000 isn't just money. It's 8 months of physical therapy I can't afford. It's the surgery that should have happened in February instead of May. It's the future you sold for a gaming startup and a Tesla. I turned back to the judge. I learned something through all of this. Your Honor, I learned that boundaries aren't betrayal. Boundaries are how you protect yourself from people who see you as an ATM instead of a daughter. I learned that chosen family matters more than blood family, because blood might share your DNA. But chosen family shares your burdens. I looked at Dad one last time. Dad, if you're listening, you didn't lose your daughter today. You lost her on February 14th. The day you chose Sharon's threats over my surgery. The day you signed my future away. My voice finally cracked. I waited my whole life to be your priority. 5 years of being second to Tyler. Second to Sharon. Second to everyone. I thought if I was patient enough, understanding enough, easy times enough, you'd finally choose me. But you chose yourself. You chose your comfort over my pain. Your marriage over my recovery. I wiped my eyes. So here's my boundary. I choose me. I choose my health. I choose people who show up. And I'm done waiting for you to be the father you promised you'd be. The courtroom was dead silent. Judge Vance was writing notes fast. Furious. Thank you. Adrienne. Renata said quietly. No further questions. Dunlap stood for cross. Ms. Cole. Isn't it true you have a history of conflict with your stepmother, counsel? Judge Vance's voice cut like a blade. Sit down. I've heard enough. Dunlap blinked. Your Honor, I haven't presented our case. You don't have a case. Sit down. He sat. Judge Vance removed her glasses and looked at my father. Mr. Cole. Stand up. Dad stood. Shaking. Do you understand that you violated your fiduciary duty to your daughter's silence? Answer the question. Yes. Your Honor, do you understand that you allowed your wife to manipulate you into stealing from your own child while she was incapacitated? His voice broke. Yes. Do you have anything to say in your defense? He looked at me. Opened his mouth. Closed it. No. Your Honor. Judge Vance put her glasses back on. I find in favor of the plaintiff. Raymond Cole and Sharon Briggs are ordered to return $195,000 plus 6% interest, $11,700, totaling $206,700. Payment due within 30 days. Additionally, defendants will pay the plaintiff's attorney fees, estimated at $25,000 from Lee. She wasn't finished. Furthermore, I'm issuing an immediate freeze on Tyler Briggs's assets until full repayment is made. The court finds that Mr. Pleshan, Briggs knowingly benefited from misappropriated funds and will be held jointly liable. Bang. Raymond Cole. Your power of attorney over Adrienne Cole is permanently revoked. You are prohibited from managing anyone's finances but your own, unless specifically authorized by this court. And this court will refer this matter to the Arizona Attorney General for potential criminal investigation of financial exploitation. Bang. Court adjourned. The courtroom erupted. Priya was hugging me. Crying. Renata shook my hand, professional even now. But her eyes were bright. Across the aisle, Sharon was screaming at Raymond. Actually screaming. You idiot. You let her. You didn't even fight Raymond, just sat there. Broken. Tyler was on his phone, probably calling his lawyer about the asset freeze. Aunt Bev pushed through the crowd and pulled me into a hug. I'm so sorry. Adrienne. I didn't know. I didn't see. But I see now. Carolyn Frost was waiting by the door. Professional as ever, but she winked. Good work. Ms. Cole. Outside. The Tribune reporter approached. Ms. Cole. Can I get a statement? Renata started to wave her off. But I stopped her. Yes. I have a statement. I looked straight at the camera. If someone in your family is stealing from you financially, emotionally, or otherwise, it's not betrayal to set boundaries. It's survival. Blood doesn't give anyone the right to exploit you, and walking away from a toxic family isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. The reporter nodded. This runs tomorrow. Front page. That night, Priya, Renata, and I got pizza. Renata's phone buzzed. She checked it, smiled. Tyler's lawyer just filed a motion to contest the asset freeze. Judge Vance denied it in writing. Her note says, and I quote, Mr. Briggs may contest this ruling when he returns the Tesla he purchased with stolen funds. We laughed. God. We laughed. For the first time in 6 months. I felt light. Not because of the money, though getting it back would save my life, but because I'd spoken my truth in front of everyone, and I'd been heard. The asset freeze hit Tyler within hours. Bank accounts frozen. Tesla seized by court order pending repayment. Pixel Forge Studios shut down. 3 days after the verdict, Tyler's 3 co-founders filed suit against him for misappropriation of investor funds. Turns out promising investors serious capital and then using it to buy yourself a car is, shockingly, illegal. Priya sent me screenshots from Reddit. Someone had posted the Tribune article. 47,000 upvotes. Thousands of comments. This happened to my family too. My uncle took my college fund. Stepmom literally called her, not ours. That's sociopathic. The Tesla, while saying he couldn't withdraw funds, getting the receipts icon behavior. My story had gone viral. Not as entertainment, but because it was everyone's story. Every scapegoat who'd been told to share. Every overlooked sibling bled dry and called selfish for objecting. Tyler texted me at 2 a.m. from a number I didn't recognize. Adrienne. Please. I'm sorry. I didn't know it would go this far. Can we talk? I'll do anything. Just drop the lawsuit. I'll pay you back slowly. I swear. I showed it to Renata. What do you want to do? She asked. I typed one message. You had 3 months to do the right thing. You bought a Tesla instead. Now you know what it feels like to have your future taken. I learned it from you. Block. Sharon filed for divorce on June 2nd. Irreconcilable differences. She demanded half the marital assets and in Arizona, a community property state. She was entitled to it. Dad had to sell the house. $420,000. After the mortgage and splitting with Sharon, he netted $210,000, which he had to hand to me, plus $25,000 in legal fees. He was left in the negative $28,000 in the hole. Sharon took her half and moved to California, remarried within 4 months. A real estate developer, richer than Dad. She deleted me from all her social media. Blocked my number. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not vindication. Just a quiet sense of the universe correcting itself. Dad tried to call. 12 times over 2 weeks. I never answered. He left voicemails. Each more desperate than the last. Adrienne. Please. I know I was wrong. I lost everything. The house. The marriage. My reputation. I lost you. Please. Baby girl. I'm your father. I made a mistake. I was scared. Sharon threatened to leave, and I panicked. I chose wrong. I know I chose wrong. You were right about all of it. I was weak. I let her control me. But I'm still your dad. Doesn't that count for something times? Voicemail number 12. I have nothing left. No wife. No house. No savings. Just this apartment and my regrets. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to know I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I listened to that last one 3 times. Then I deleted all of them. Priya asked. Don't you want to respond, even just to tell him off? No. He doesn't get my words anymore. He doesn't get my time. He doesn't get me. That's cold. Vic. No. It's a boundary. There's a difference. I sent one email. June 15th. Subject line, final communication. Dad. You didn't lose your daughter today. You lost her on February 14th, the day you chose Sharon's ultimatum over my surgery. The day you signed my future away for your comfort. I don't hate you. Hate takes energy I need for healing. But I choose me now. I choose my recovery. I choose people who show up without being legally obligated to. Boundaries aren't betrayal. Boundaries are self-love. This is mine. Don't contact me again. Adrienne. I hit send. Blocked his email. Blocked his number. And closed that chapter. Tyler ended up washing dishes at a diner on McDowell Road. His Instagram went private. His bio changed from Times CEO of Pixel Forge Studios, Times to nothing at all. Someone from my clinic spotted him there. Said he looked exhausted. Older. I felt a flicker of something, not sympathy. Just recognition. Consequences. Meeting choices. Good. I said. And meant it. The community backlash was swift. Dad's church group stopped inviting him around. He'd been a deacon. And they asked him to step down. Sharon's friends. The ones who'd come to the intervention. Posted vague threads online about financial abuse and knowing the signs. None of them mentioned they'd participated in trying to gaslight me into a psych ward. Carolyn Frost sent me a card. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet and complete. Proud of you. Aunt Bev visited weekly. Brought groceries. Helped with my PT exercises. I should have said something at that intervention. She told me one afternoon. I knew it was wrong. But I was scared of causing family drama. You're here now. I said. That's what matters. Family isn't just blood. She said. It's who stays. And I'm staying. May 25th. Tuju M. Surgery day. Doctor. Okafor personally walked me through pre-op. We're going to fix this. Adrienne. 6 hours. Maybe 7. When you wake up, you'll have your life back. Priya held my hand until they wheeled me into the OR. See you on the other side. She said. Renata had sent flowers to my room. The card read, Get your leg back. Then, get your life back. I woke in recovery at 3 p.m. Grogged. In pain. But doctor, Okafor was right there. We did it. The femoral head is saved. 6 months of PT. Adrienne. But you'll walk. You'll run. You might even dance. If you want to. I cried. Not from pain. From relief. Priya was there when they moved me to a regular room. She'd waited 6 hours. Your dad called the hospital. She said carefully. Wanted updates. I told them no information to anyone but your approved contacts. Thank you. Vic. I have to tell you something. And you might be mad. I raised an eyebrow. I started a fundraiser for your post-surgery expenses. PT. Medications. Home care. I set the goal at 30,000. Vic, we're at 43,000. 680 donors. Most of them strangers who read the Tribune article. Some are your patients. Some are people who've been through the exact same thing. She showed me her phone. Comment after comment. My father did this to me too. 500 for your recovery. Stepmothers like Sharon gave me PTSD. Here's 209. You inspired me to set boundaries. Thank you. 1,000. I couldn't speak. Chosen family. Priya said softly. Bigger than you knew. I hired Yolanda Reyes as my caregiver. 50. Certified. Kenned. No nonsense. And it turned out she'd known my mother. Before Mom died when I was 12. Your mama would be so proud of you. Yolanda said. Helping me through my exercises. Standing up to Raymond like that. Setting boundaries. Your mama tried to teach him that. He never learned. You knew my parents, honey. I was your mama's best friend. I saw how Raymond changed after he married Sharon. Saw how he stopped showing up for you. Broke my heart. But you, she smiled. You got your mama's spine. For 8 weeks. Yolanda was there cooking, cleaning, driving me to appointments. Being family. Physical therapy was brutal. 3 days a week. 2 hours a session. My therapist, Devon, was relentless. 10 more steps. Adrienne, you can do this. I hate you. You'll thank me when you're running. He was right. By August, I was walking without crutches. By September, without a limp. By October, I was jogging slowly, painfully. But jogging. November 10th. 6 months post-surgery. I walked into Desert Wellness Clinic for my first day back. Part-time. 4 hours a day. But back? My coworkers had decorated my office balloons. A Times, welcome back. Adrienne Foibane. Cake. And Maya was there. The little girl I'd promised would run again. The one I'd been treating before my accident. She was 8 now. Fully recovered. She ran to me and hugged my legs. Ms. Adrienne, you're walking just like me. We ran a lap around the clinic together. Her laughing. Me crying happy tears. This was why I fought. Not for revenge. For this. For the ability to keep my promises. December 1st. My therapist cleared me for unrestricted activity. No more limitations. Adrienne, you're at 100%. I walked out of that appointment. Stood in the parking lot. And just breathed. 6 months earlier, I'd thought I'd lose my leg. Now I was whole. Not because of my father. Not because of my settlement. Because I fought for myself. Because Priya fought for me. Because Renata believed in justice. Because Carolyn risked her career. Because Yolanda showed up. Because chosen family is stronger than blood. I moved into my own apartment, 1 bedroom. Near the clinic. Mountain view. The first night, I cooked dinner. Simple pasta. Nothing fancy. I invited Priya and Renata. We sat on the floor. Because I didn't have furniture yet. And ate off paper plates. Renata raised her plastic cup of wine. To Adrienne, who stood up when they tried to push her down. Priya raised hers. To boundaries. I raised mine. To chosen family. To standing up. To surviving people who thought you were too broken to fight back. We clicked plastic cups. And I felt it, the thing I'd been chasing for 6 months. Peace. By the following spring, I was running a 5K charity race. Phoenix Strong. For accident survivors. My time. 32 minutes. 18 seconds. Not fast. But I finished. Priya crossed the line with me. We'd agreed to run it together. The announcer called my name Adrienne Cole. Survivor. Physical therapist. And founder of the Laura Cole Foundation. Applause. Cheers. The foundation. Named for my mother. Its mission. Legal aid and financial advocacy for accident victims facing family financial abuse. In partnership with Renata's firm, 3 cases taken on so far. 2 won. 1 pending. We're small. But we're helping. A letter arrived. Handwritten. Raymond Cole. Return address. I held it for 5 minutes. Priya was having coffee with me. Aren't you curious? No. Closure doesn't come from the people who hurt you. It comes from moving forward. I put the letter in a drawer. Labeled it Care Past. And closed the drawer. I keep one family connection now. Aunt Bev. Monthly lunch. Just us. She updates me without my asking. Raymond's doing okay. Working as a financial consultant. Small clients. He's in therapy. He asks about you. Inot. Sharon's in California, divorced the real estate guy already. Remarried. Some tech investor. I sip my coffee. Tyler's back in school. Community college. Business degree. Doing well. Apparently. Good for him. Bev looks at me. You don't want to know more. I have compassion for their struggles. But compassion and reconciliation aren't the same thing. I can wish them well from a distance. That's very mature. No. It's self-preservation. I started therapy after the trial, 18 months of sessions with Dr. René Park. At my last one. She said, "You've processed your trauma. Adrienne. You're not just surviving anymore. You're living." What's the difference? Survivors react to their past. Living people create their future. You're creating. She was right. I wasn't defined by what they did to me. I was defined by what I did next. Final scene. My apartment balcony. Sunrise. Coffee. Journal. I write times. This isn't a story about money. It's a story about worth. Worth isn't what your family assigns you. Worth is what you claim for yourself. Dad didn't take my ability to stand. He just showed me who I was standing next to and who deserved to be there. Boundaries aren't betrayal. Boundaries are love. Love for yourself. Protection for your future. A refusal to be convenient instead of cherished. They thought I was weak because I needed crutches. But strength isn't in your legs. It's in your spine. In your voice. In your refusal to be gaslighted into silence. I learned that the family who shows up matters more than the family you're born into. Blood is an accident of birth. Chosen family is a decision of the heart. And I chose well. I close the journal and look out at the mountains. The sunrise is pink and gold. Beautiful. I'm 33 now. Healthy. Working full-time. Building a nonprofit. Surrounded by people who love me because they choose to. Not because they have to. Dad didn't take my ability to stand up. He taught me who's worth standing beside. And the answer: myself? First and always. Myself. If this story landed with you, if you've ever had to choose between keeping the peace and keeping yourself, please share it. Someone in your life might need permission to set a boundary. Someone might need to hear you're not selfish for protecting yourself. You're not cruel for walking away from people who exploit you. You're not betraying family by choosing your own survival. Boundaries aren't betrayal. They're the truest form of self-love. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If you took anything from it, let me know in the comments. What boundaries do you need to set? What family patterns do you need to break? Let's talk about it. Because you deserve to stand up. Even if you have to do it alone, especially then. Crutches can hold your body upright, but they cannot hold your life together when the people around you are stealing pieces of it. For months, I thought my broken leg was the weakest part of me. It wasn't. The real fracture was in the trust I had handed over with one shaky signature from a hospital bed. A signature made under pain should never become permission for betrayal. And love should never require a daughter to sacrifice her future so someone else can call it family. What saved me was not anger alone. It was evidence. Witnesses. Records. And the courage to stop doubting my own reality. When people try to make you look unstable for asking honest questions, keep the documents. Keep the dates. Keep the truth where no one can rewrite it. Strength is not proven by pretending you are not hurt. Strength is choosing to stand up for yourself, even when you need help standing at all. Scriptwriter Nguyen Van Chien.